Welcome to the CFG GameCast, episode number 86, a weekly podcast created by gamers and streamers alike to discuss the latest gaming topics from the previous week. We stream a new episode on Saturdays and release it on podcast services on Mondays like Apple, Google Podcasts, Stitcher Radio, and so much more. So show us some love. Give us a follow, a like, a comment, what have you on any podcast service out there, or go to our main website, confreaksandgeeks.com, to not miss an episode. I am Mr. CFG Games himself, Davis Green, and with me today are my two awesome co-hosts. I got Lex in the second seat. How are you doing, my cyborg?
I'm doing all right. Got a lot of games in this week. Took yesterday off because, man, did I need it. We got to play the new map on Among Us. That was really fun.
Okay. Oh, you did?
I still haven't played that yet. I need to check that out.
I had Lex's face covered on Facebook, apparently.
Yeah, I saw that. It's okay.
I changed that.
We don't need to see my face anyways. It's fine.
Yeah, my bad.
It's fine. I forgive you.
Yes. So you said you tried out the new map on Among Us, you said?
Yeah.
How was that?
It was interesting. So there's new sounds. They literally redid everything from like sounds to like little nuances. You climb up you climb up and climb down little ladders, and the animation for that and the sound is just so freaking adorable. I can't stand it.
Oh, really?
The sound for when someone wants to like call somebody out and they hit the button on the table, totally new. And it fits the theme of the ship too, or like how you feel when you're on it, if that makes sense. Very goes much with the vibe, and all of the new tasks are adorable. I mean, I'm sure I only got to do a couple, but there's one where like you go through like a men's like spa area is what it seems like, and you have to pick up like wet towels and like put them in the basket. Then there's one where you open a safe and you get treasure. So they've added a lot of things. There's a whole gun cabinet and you have to hang guns, which is interesting. And someone asked me, like, was it small guns or big guns? So I'm assuming there's two different actions, depending on which one you get. There's one where you dress a dummy, which was hysterical because Ravage called out somebody who was like, they're just standing next to the dummy. What the hell are they doing? Like, they're dressing it? But you can't see that. They're like, I was like, are they in or are they outside in the ring? And he was like, no, they're in. And I don't know how they got in. I'm like, there's stairs. He's like, oh. And so my idiot self is running into doorways because I'm like, how do I get in? But it was a lot of fun, and that was a blast to like round out the week with. So I really enjoyed it. I think they did a good job.
That is awesome. Well, like I think that
I don't explain it. That's what it reminds me of.
That game, and as well, actually, it was surprising about have y'all played Fall Guys recently?
Yes,
it's been a little bit.
Fall Guys right before that, actually.
This game, Fall Guys, has gotten really good. It's surprising. Like, you should definitely go back into that because remember last year, like the last end of 2020, it was all about Fall Guys and Among Us, and I've been waiting for the update on Among Us. I haven't tried the new map yet, but I'm really looking forward to it on how you're describing it, Lex. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to trying it out. But do you know who I think that would never want to try out like a map like that because he's too scared?
Oh, I know.
The 5-star general of the itty bitty Smitty committee. I got Smitty in the third seat. How are you doing, buddy?
I love seeing how you're gonna segue into my intro each week. It is so much fun, dude. I am doing. What's that?
It's a good adventure to do it. It's
exactly.
He includes me, which makes me feel, yeah. Mm-hmm.
No, I've been great. The girls were out of town. They had spring break for school and stuff like that. So they went up north. So it's been me solo dolo. And I took yesterday off and I took Thursday off. Obviously, Outriders came out and we literally played till our eyes bled. 19 and a half hours we went, and I only stopped because I had nobody else to play with. And I was like, I should probably go to sleep. So
Bro, I stayed up like as long as you did, and I've been the problem is I tried to get in touch with you, but like I can never, like once you're in that format and then that mode, the world does not exist.
I'm in that mode. If you're not talking to me on Twitch, I'm not checking anything else. You know what I mean? It's like that's where you can contact me.
No, it's even worse. If he's not live streaming and you're at his front door, he will not come down or hear you. Because he is so invested. We've gone to his house before and he's there. And I'm like ringing doorbells, calling his cell phone, and I can hear him on the outside going, "No."
Oh my God.
I know you're wrong.
I'm terrible.
And
I'm not trying to. Yeah. I get in that zone.
Mm-hmm. I don't like to, for etiquette wise, I always have a problem asking, hey, can I join you on Twitch on the stream? Because it's like, because I know you, Smitty, but like the other people that are watching and stuff would probably also set that precedence of saying, hey,
it up.
Let's open it up and let's see if we can actually play with them too and stuff. Because I get that all the time when I play, oddly enough, Nintendo Switch games. I get it all the time when I play Switch games. They're always randoms just want to say, hey, can you be on my friends list? And I'm like, I don't know you. I don't want to be on the friends list.
Yeah.
You know?
So we aren't friends though. What?
Like, who are you? You know? So.
Yeah, clearly it has been, I'm absolutely loving the game, but like many others, the frustrations are coming with these server issues, and we're going to get into all that stuff. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I'm loving it. Like you said, King versus Kong.
versus Kong. It's a prequel. It's the story of how King.
I have not slept much. Like literally, like that one night I went to bed at like 5, I think it was, and I got up at like 11, and then jumped back. I did some work because the servers, and then I jumped back into the game when I could, played all through the night, and then went to bed again last night at like 5, and I woke up at 10:30 this morning. So I am in like hardcore grind mode to get to that end game, and you know what I mean. Just yeah, I'm enjoying it. I'm loving it, dude. Like, and again, these are like, I'm a huge looter shooter fan, so this feels great. The customization in it is ridiculous, and I absolutely love, you know what I mean, the different builds and stuff like that you can set up. So it's been good. It was a great stream. I had a ton of fun. You know, I saw a ton of people and got to hang out. So can't ask for anything better than that. How about yourself, my friend?
Yeah, Davis.
Well, but yeah, dude, I've been loving it. Like, I've been kind of doing the same kind of thing, but I've been like, I'm kind of juggling games. With it, I've been playing Bravely Default 2 because I love RPGs. My goal is to finish that. To start focusing on something else, but in the meantime, like I allotted the weekend, like Thursday to the weekend, to play some Outriders seriously, you know, so kind of keep up into it. So that's what I've been doing most of my time. I've been doing some pretty cool. I not as bad or as hardcore as Smitty is when it came to that, but
if you could have, you would have. You just had to work. Dude, That's all that is.
Yeah.
You would have been right there, dude.
I'm not that far behind you, though.
And you're not that far behind. Exactly.
I'm level 21. Y'all are level 28, right? So like, it's not that, like, it's it's still a bit, but it's like, it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. Because like, but it could have been a lot better if these with the issues that, like Smitty said, we're going to get into here shortly about it. But other than that, it's been a fun. I mean, the game is fun. I'm definitely enjoying the game when you get to play it. Yeah. But like, but yeah, so it's just so it's been basically a good week of gaming and stuff for the most part. Well, yeah, a good week of gaming. Let's just say gaming. For the most part. But
I agree.
But I know most people are not wanting to just talk about, like, you know, just our whole passions of what we were playing this week. So we're going through the normal rigmarole like we normally do each and every week. So let's get this started. So each of us chooses a topic or discussion from the previous week. The topic could be something from the gaming industry, or something about a specific game that happened or that is currently out there. So we don't want to talk about it amongst ourselves. We just want you, the listener or viewer on YouTube, Twitch, or Facebook to be a part of the conversation. So if there is something that you're wanting to add or chime in to what we're discussing, by all means, put it inside the chat. We would love to chat it up with y'all. And we are, it makes it much better, much fun, and different perspectives and stuff like that. So
much fun.
You are not going to be judged. Or one of the, yeah, well, yeah, but then again, though, too, when you think about it, it's get one of those good nuggets of wisdom from me. Like the other day when I was streaming, I said, "Man, RPGs are this is a really good RPG. That's how you know it's good." And I'm like, that doesn't even make any sense. That's stupid.
But I mean, it's kind of facts, though, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, it's like an obvious thing. It's like good game. You get to play good games. If you like this game, then you're going to play it some more until you beat it. It's just like, obviously, yes, I know. Thank you. Except for some people who like for instance, Metal Gear Solid 5. But
I woke up for that one. She's like, "Ooh, called out, burn."
We're working on it. We've gotten something a little bit in. We've gotten a little bit in.
You had that good stream. What, like, was that 2 weeks ago? That was
a couple weeks ago. Yeah,
pretty fun. You saw. I mean, you're not in any time crunch. You'll be all good. But our topic today, the main topic, is about Outriders and the issues that it is having. Like we were saying before earlier on our introductions, Smitty and I have been playing Outriders a lot. We have been loving the game when we can play it. But this game is being riddled with a lot of different issues after issue after issue. Like, it's weird because the game is solid. The game is actually, I mean, it doesn't do anything like too out of the ordinary. It's a looter shooter. So it's not like it's introducing, it's not like it's reinventing the wheel. But the gameplay is very addicting, especially when you play with your team of people that you know, I haven't had a chance to play with a rando team, but like I have played with like groups of 3, and it is a fun game to just tore down these waves and waves of different kinds of people. So yeah, so it is a great game that way. And then like the different, well, I haven't hit the customizations options as much as Smitty has, but there's so many different aspects to this game than just shooting and stuff and getting the loot. So I think it is worth the money for it, but I wouldn't guarantee you. I wouldn't tell people to buy the game yet, because it is plagued with one issue that is making it really frustrating to play this game, and unfortunately, it's the server. So basically what's happening is that Outrider, the game itself, you have to have internet connection to play. You're installed the game on your system, but you have to log in so to have constant internet access to play this game. By doing that, you'll need to authenticate. You need to authenticate your logins to get into it. But because this is only day 3 of the game, because of the massive influx of people that are constantly going into the system, is getting overloaded, and it's causing severe server issues. Not lag, but crashing. The servers are crashing at times. So yesterday was the beginning of all of this. Was really the beginning of all of this, which was they had to reboot the servers, but then they realized it would take longer for them to reboot it than they anticipated. Then they decided to do a 2-tier reboot system to have international people to go first on to have the servers fully rebooted, and then have the Americans or the US side to reboot their servers. That didn't fix the issue, because even today, this morning, like, it is still doing the same thing. It is having you cannot log in openly to if you're wanting to play the game anytime. It's having actual problems and issues just logging into your account and getting into it. So so the biggest problem is that they need to find a way to see what's going on with the stability of the system, the stability of this game. Try to fix it while all this is happening at the same time. And like, I understand day one patches. I definitely understand that, and I gave it benefits of the doubt for a day one patch. And plus, I gave it benefits of the doubt of them trying to fix whatever the issue was initially on Monday, or I'm sorry, on Thursday. But the problem is that like they're saying that they're trying to be transparent of the issue that is at hand, but we're all we're getting is that, hey, we're going to reboot the servers and see if this is going to fix the issue. Today they've done the most that they've done today. They've actually recalibrated and made a patch, a systematic patch to see if they can actually keep it stabilized. And after the patch that they did install on it, I'm still experiencing it. I got kicked out in the middle of the game, which we can also get on to a little bit later. But so this game is a fun game to play. It is no Anthem by any means of the necessary. There's a lot of stuff you could do in this game, but the problem is that this game is complete, but the access to the game is the problem. So I just kind of wanted to get y'all's, mostly Smitty's take, because I know Lex, you haven't really fully touched it, but like, not yet at least, but I just wanted to see what, like, Smitty, your frustrations or what I'm experiencing while playing this game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing that you're saying. I mean, you start getting into a rhythm, and this is the worst part. I've been kicked like during boss fights, in the middle of things, and you'll have to go back and do it. It is expected to have these day one issues, but like, this is really bad to the point where, like, when you are getting kicked in the middle of battle or, having issues authenticating and this and that, by day 3, a lot of that stuff should have been worked out. So there's a lot more, I feel, that is going on in the back end. And I think we'll get that information on some sort of postmortem. When you're in the middle of the fire, you're not trying to explain how the fire started. You know what I mean? You're trying to put the fire out and fix the issues. So, I think they're being as transparent as they can be and not wanting to jump. Again, this is a hard, I guess these times that we live in now, people want this instant gratification. So, there's very much a look, when we get out of this, when we get this thing settled down, we're going to go back, figure out exactly what happened. And then we'll be able to tell the people, and educated, this is exactly what happened. We went down the pathway. This is how we fix it and whatnot. Is it disappointing? Absolutely. Because this game is a ton of fun. I have not been this excited for a looter shooter, especially one that after, we're on day 3 and I'm still like, what's sleep? I don't need sleep because I'm gonna play this game. I got some things I need to do here. You know what I mean? Like, it is a ton of fun. It's just, I will patiently wait and see what the issues are. But the good thing is that they are actively working on fixing this stuff. If you guys have been through somewhere, like, you'll just hear nothing and like servers are down. You won't hear anything for hours or things like that. So they've been there, and this is a full-fledged game. We saw this article earlier that really ripped into it. And like, the dude was like a level 13. It's like, dude, the game hasn't even opened up for you
barely
yet at level 13. Yeah, exactly. It's like, what? It's like, I'm 30 plus hours deep into the game. I'm getting loot that I'm getting excited about. We're starting to get legendary drops. Haven't seen any kind of legendary armor or anything like that. So like, and then the crafting and the different builds and stuff like that. That's what's really exciting about this, because that's something that you always want, or I've always wanted from a looter shooter. It's like, not only do you want to shoot, but you want that great loot. And I want a great way to be able to customize my loot for my play style. And this very much has all that. Dude, I can't wait. I can't wait to see just for this stuff to stable out and be able to play, do the crossplay. We tried crossplay. That's been an issue as well. I was able to get into a game with somebody on Xbox, but every time we tried to get into a mission, it would black screen me and I couldn't get in. So, are there issues? Yeah, but I don't care. This is a fun ass game. I don't care what anybody says.
The game itself is a fun game, and I definitely, to what Kit Sander is saying, he's saying the opposite hand of the instant gratification argument is that we've seen too many games released that aren't ready to be released. Clearly, they still have some development issues, and server stress tests should have been ran and worked out prior to official release. And I think it's hard to kind of gauge when they do server stress tests, because who's to say that they didn't? The biggest problem because the problem when you're playing, when you have a game on a server, like this, you're kind of going by an estimate of what you're putting in on that. Mm-hmm. But with that being said, I will say that it may not be this could possibly not be a server issue because people are saying that it's probably because of Azure, that these are Azure servers. I haven't confirmed it, so I'm not going to get into that itself. It could be an authentication issue, because most of the times, 9 out of 10 times, yeah, exactly. Because the way you're logging into this game is you're using a third-party server outside of Azure to log in with Square Enix itself, and it's possible that the massive amount of authentication could possibly go inside. It could be bottlenecking, and it could be just too many statements for it to confer. Who knows? But something like that can't be tested unless you're saying, because they've had the beta. The beta's been available for over a month now, and it's been theoretical that if they people could have theoretically have gone in, but to get the loads that they're getting to get these errors that we're getting now has to be astronomically high, is what I'm saying. So but like I said, we don't know. I'm just saying we just don't know what the issue is until. But my money is it's an authentication. I don't think it's a server load issue, but I think it's an authentication issue from how the logins are always failing to the server. It doesn't even reach the server before we have these issues.
Yeah, and Monkey Blood in chat said that they seem to add server capacity after the fact rather than have too much at launch and scale back if they have to. I don't work in that industry, but in TV, you never buy too much, because then you're just throwing away money essentially. Yeah. You add as you build, because there's big dollar signs associated with that. So it's unless it's guaranteed, I can't justify to my bosses, hey, you need to spend X amount of dollars because we may get this. But if not, now we're just asked out on money, and whose head is it going to be? It's going to be mine. Yeah.
Right.
Well, so I can understand that decision.
I don't think, and again, you're right. I haven't played it. I'm letting Dust kind of do that developmental, can she play this, because of, my vision problems and the fact that I've been having seizures a lot more due to games. But I hear him in the other room. Every time the servers go down, his first comment is, "But the game is so good. But it's so good." That's his first comment. I'm like, "Oh, servers are down." But the game is so good. Oh, it's so good. And then, a couple hours ago, he's like, "I'm not crying. You're crying. I need a tissue." And I was like, "Oh." And I thought he was talking to me for a second. He was just saying out loud, to the universe. And it was adorable. No, here's the thing. I don't think there's a developmental issue, because if there was, that would not be the commentary from the other room. You know what I mean?
Right.
We've played games. We're all knowledgeable in the game area, right? You can tell when something wasn't ready for release. This game was ready for release. From everything I've seen, it was ready. The thing is again, you can't. What Smitty said, you can't tell your boss, "Oh, I am expecting 2 million people on day one," because your boss is going to look at you and say you're crazy.
I would say I'm crazy. I'd be like,
right.
I'm not confident
even with pre-sales, it's really hard to gauge at this point in the game who's going to be on, who's going to be playing at day one. The second it loads in, who's going to be there. It's really hard to say, because a lot of people like me, I'm waiting for him to play, to whatever round before we decide if I'm able to even play this game. I feel and then there's people who are also part of me is like, but everyone's playing it, so I don't want to play it. Does that make sense? I always do that. I don't know why, but I always do that. No, but I think this game was definitely ready, because if it wasn't, he would not be spending all this time and effort in that other room.
You're the person you're the person that likes to stream, that likes to swim upstream. That case. But no, I mean, I definitely agree. But like, for instance, here's some of the experiences that I've been having. This is my own personal experiences of the game. So I was telling earlier that there was a mission itself that was that I was with a friend, and then we were going to play. We had to go to the top to fight the boss. So we were going through the process, going to the top. Then all of a sudden we get disconnected. So then once we were able to get back, we had to start again at the beginning of that mission. And we were going to the top again. We're about to get to the top. We kill the person before we can open the door. We get disconnected a second time from it. So then once again, we had to do it again. And when we got back, went to the very top. Then I stayed on, but my friend got disconnected. So I decided to just destroy everything in the room until he comes back. Was able to get back. Went to the final boss because I did not want to do this a fourth time to do it, and then just to get inside and take him out. So we took him out. We were good. Then we were about to fight. We were doing a side mission. We were about to finish the side mission. I get disconnected, and then so it didn't count. So all of it didn't count at all whatsoever. So it's just So this is the kind of stuff that just gets so annoying. It's like, and then what's worse is like you're just waiting. All you see is from the Outriders Twitter page is, oh, we're seeing we're working on the server issues right now. We're going to reboot. You should be back on here shortly. And that's really about it. I mean, don't get me wrong. I really, really do appreciate the level of transparency, because I mean, they're still not telling you anything, but they are telling you at least that they're working on it, and they're at least giving an estimated time and where they're at with it. Yeah. But at the same time, it's like, man, how often how bad is your network connections for this to be this consistent, this consistently bad, that we have to deal with this? We've been dealing with this for 3 days now. It's like, something's got to give. It's so ridiculous.
Yeah, and I think Zukara makes a good point too, as in a lot of the times you see this stuff fall on the developers. People associate the problems with the developers, but like the actual game is good. You know what I mean? So it's not per se them. Again, there's a whole bunch of back end stuff that as your average day consumer, I don't understand. I don't know the inner workings. That's why I'm always like, look, dude, like before I have any kind of opinion, let it play out. They're working on getting it to a place that it's going to be solid and, nice and playable. They want nothing more than the same thing that we want, I feel like, as well. And that goes, there's 5 years of work to be having issues like this now. It's got to be terribly frustrating on their end to be watching and seeing too. So, it's like, I try to give the benefit of the doubt, I think, as far as with that. But again, with the day and age that we live in the internet turns into this quick rage machine. People are quick to get on that. And I'm like, look, dude, just let it settle down. And then, yeah, exactly. It hasn't even been a week yet. I had a buddy of mine tell me that, like, I'm gonna do a refund. And it's like, or he's like, I can't even do a refund or whatever. And it's like, look, dude, like, slow down, man. Slow down, bruh.
Okay, but this is a difference between, like, that the game is incomplete, because the game is clearly, well, from what we've gathered, the game is very meaty. It's very meaty.
We played Anthem. We know what an incomplete game.
Oh, well, I'm getting to that.
Like.
I'm getting to that because, like, I think, like overall, because, like, when you played Anthem and you play this is like ballparks away from what Anthem what we got from Anthem. So, like, itself, the justification, like, for instance, I would I would strongly suggest someone to play this game, but I wouldn't tell them to do it just yet because the big kink isn't the game this time. It isn't the game this time. It's the server. It's the way the game is being branched out is the problem, which is something way better than what if it would have been for the game itself. Because the game itself, you're going to have to do what Anthem tried to do with the stupid BS of saying, "Oh, Anthem 2.0" or any crap like that, which takes time. If this is hardware/server software issues, this is something that can be easily fixed faster than what we are at. It's just a matter of patience. That's where it's going to be. And don't get me wrong. I feel people are very well justified to be as frustrated as like I am and stuff to be doing what you're going with. But at the same time, I know for a fact that it will be okay. At least I know that when the servers are stable, I will still have a very fun game that we don't have to do like, you know, any kind of fixes for the game itself. That's the way I'm looking at it. You know,
I agree. Yeah. It's actually kind of refreshing that it's not the actual game. It's how we're connecting to it and that stuff. That's the problem. I want more. I want to, like, if we weren't having these issues, I don't know that I would have slept. I might have just kept going.
We would have canceled the CFG GameCast tonight.
If anything, it's been good for me and my health.
All right. Wow. Yeah. So I mean, yeah. So yeah. Like I said on the post, like, God damn it, Outrider. It isn't because I'm disappointed in the game. I'm really just disappointed in whatever these issues are with the servers. And I will be keeping a close eye to see what the hell is going on, like what it is. My money is on authentication issues, not the server issues, because the server loads. Some people are saying it's because it's an Azure server. I'm like, that's not an excuse. I mean, Xbox Live is running on Azure servers. I mean, it's like itself, like Xbox Game Pass can carry that load. If they can't carry that load, then Xbox Game Pass would have had a big problem from day one. So I just think it's just a way of how it's on how people are logging into the thing that's having the issues. So, but that's my opinion. That's what I'm going by. So let's go with that.
It'll be interesting to see how it plays out, dude. It'll be interesting to see what they finally release and say, all right, here's the official, what the issues were. And then, you know, again, that's just a learning, it's a learning experience, I suppose, in whatever that issue is.
Yeah, like Zakara said, might be some line of code that messing up. That is very true. And it's easy to make these kind of mistakes towards it, but like maybe there is instead of having a flexible, an elastic load, someone could have put something stiff, like a static, a number, that once it hits that number, it just bottlenecks. It's very possible. That happens all the time. And when it comes in like IT and stuff. So who knows? But we'll see. I'm looking forward to that list to see what the error is. So we'll see how good that goes up with it. But yes, you're like, and also what Zakara just says, big shout out to them being upfront about the issues and what they're doing to get it fixed. So like I said, the transparency is not fully transparent, but they're letting you know, but at least they're owning up to it. So I will say that that's a good thing. So.
Well, and I'd rather hear that like you're disappointed that you can't get into the servers because you're wanting to play more than I was playing, I got bored, servers went down, and I said I give up. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So at least you're like, you read me part of that blurb from that article earlier, and I immediately thought there's absolutely no way. There's no way that this dude is that bored and disappointed, because I would be hearing it from the other room. Again, like Dust, I call him my judgy you-know-what, because he is. Humans and games. Like, he'll tell you outright, like, I don't like your face. And he hasn't said this about the game. So,
my God. Jesus.
Well, he'll say it to me, not you. That's the difference. I hear about it. I hear about everything. But yeah.
He's like, dang, that's an ugly baby.
Pretty much. Yep.
Oh,
good topic,
God. Though. Yeah, very much so.
Yeah.
All right. Smitty.
Eat him.
What is your topic for the day?
Yeah, so just perusing the news and stuff. I saw, obviously, this summer or last summer when we went into the pandemic, we had a lot of the gaming companies, just kind of supporting and putting things out there. Everybody moved over to a digital format and whatnot. So we've kind of, we're starting to see a light at the end of the tunnel, but very much so conventions and things like that are still very much in the digital space and being done at least up through summer and whatnot. I have seen some things out in the fall and winter that look like they're going to try to get back to in person. But E3, which, and I've never really been a big like E3 person, I guess. I just never really paid too much attention to that convention. But them being in a digital space, it's been found out that they actually pitched to publishers and developers that they were talking about having features within their digital presentation conference, whatever, to have like a paid premium packages for things like premium game demos and other like unspecified things. Obviously, these publishers very much were like, that is a terrible idea, and it absolutely is a terrible idea. Number one, we're still in this pandemic, and people, clearly there's still, you're having to do this. People are still struggling work-wise and whatnot. So to even like pitch that to people, I feel like it's just in bad taste. This also makes me think, what is going on over at E3? Are you guys struggling over there to bring in dollars? Again, on that side of things, I know that marketing stuff is difficult and sales and whatnot, but very much, I feel like in that digital space, they should be the type of people that are looking at innovative companies to make it something different than what you're seeing here. And I didn't have anything from the 2020 because mainly it was just like here's games. Like I wanted to be more like yeah, it's like I've seen and I've been like Podfest. That felt like a convention, like a digital convention. They had breakout rooms. They had, all kinds of different things. It's like there's a lot more you can do in a digital space. And I feel like these companies, especially something as large as E3, you are literally a technology thing. And you're telling me you can't partner up with people to put on something, that's different and this and that. And then you're talking about, look, maybe if we charge $35, we have this extra bonus content. And it's like, look, dude, we're getting blasted all the time. Mm-hmm. People don't want, more, and maybe there are going to be people that pay for it. You know what I mean? But what I feel like it kind of diminishes from the current situation that everybody is in that they can't help. You know what I mean? And I feel like this is where this PlayStation Play Now, I know that Summerfest stuff, it's going to be coming up with Keeley and whatnot. So it's like everybody is acknowledging that we're in this space, that we're here and this is the situation that we're in. I feel like it would be too soon to even, consider doing that. And I'm glad that, number one, it's nice that this was only a pitch. And now they're officially saying, no, we're not doing that. That's not a thing. But sources from these publishers have said that is that was something that they pitched, having a paywall. And it's like, not a good look.
Oh, I mean,
what are you guys' thoughts?
My biggest thought is that E3 is at when I heard that they were planning on they were pitching this, kind of leads me to believe that E3 is at a point that they have an identity crisis, because the problem with it, to me, I feel with E3, because I've been to E3s before, and I've been to it before it was open to the public, and then when it's opening to the public, that it feels that because originally when you go to E3, it's not about playing games, it's not about checking out it's like maybe 10 to 15% of what it is there. What E3 is there for is the networking aspect. It's the networking of the internal developers, of talking to each other, talking to the press directly without going through the bells and whistles, and talking to to developers directly without going through and just traveling, because you can talk to people from Japan. I mean, the experience to go there just for that kind of thing, and then also with the announcements, are awesome. They're great. But at the same time, it's now if they were trying to do a paywall paywall for the consumers for this. They're just taking your money. Like, why would consumers care at that point to just say, hey, I want to pay money to go to E3 online, but just to get the preview that's going to be announced anyways on a YouTube video? Like, it wouldn't make a lick of sense. Like,
what the big plan as far as with that is, the plan for that was that they're going to be, the possibility of on-demand game demos streamed via the cloud that will be then playable for people. But still, I agree that you're still paying for a demo or the ability to play a demo that's eventually going to be out there anyway. It's like, why? Why would I do this?
Yeah, it costs $200 for a consumer to go to E3 physically. So like, what's their justification to get, like, there's absolutely no justification for them to say like, oh, it's good. We'll have the consumers pay $50 to play this demo of a game that may or may not come out in a year, or maybe sometimes even longer and stuff like that. You know, it's just like, it doesn't make any lick of sense. And the fact that they're even asking themselves to do it is not good, in my opinion, because it means that they lost their interest of like saying, okay, this E3 is meant for the back end, the business side, the networking side, the press, all that stuff. Their main concern isn't that anymore. I mean, if they wanted to do it that way, then so be it. But at the same time, you got to call it, like, I feel like it's disappointing that that's the way that they're feeling, or how it's looking like, because we know we're never going to see E3 as a private event again. But so that's just my 2 cents. What do you think, Lex?
I just, from like a marketing standpoint, I feel like, you know, it's like at that point, like when you say paywall behind E3, it's like NFTs make more sense to me at that point, which we were talking about. And it's like, you know, you can't sell an idea. I mean, you can. Obviously, NFTs are selling an idea to somebody. But like in the marketing world, you're not trying to sell an idea to someone. You're trying to give them a product, right? And so when you put a paywall between you and the consumer, at a convention that's realistically more for the developers and not for the consumers, I feel like you've lost your main focus, right? And we're in a time where obviously most of us are still stuck at home. Even if you've been vaccinated, like we're still having to take precautions and things like that. And, you know, hopefully like things will get back to normal by next year. Great. But in the meantime, what are you bringing to the table that is giving you some sort of leg up on the other competitors, right? And I feel when you say paywall, to me, you've given up. You don't want to do the thinking and sit down and brainstorm about what you can do to make it better for not just the consumers, but the back end, for the developers, for the marketing and all of that, right? Now you've got to like really think, okay, so the consumer is going to be at home. How do we bring this convention to them, right? You know, I just think it's silly. That's like going to a meet and greet and then having to pay extra for something you already purchased. Does that make sense? Like, but you really see. But even when you go talking about in the networking level, even to that point, why would developers need to go through E3 at that point? Like, what's to stop the developers to just do what E3 was proposing, to just go out on themselves, to just say, hey, because I mean, look what happened because of the pivot E3 did. Sony doesn't do E3 conferences anymore, right?
And Xbox, right? It's Sony, Xbox, and somebody else pulled out.
Yeah, so the big companies that are doing and Nintendo hasn't been going. I mean, they do have a presence, but their presence isn't announced at E3 anymore. It's announced on their own Nintendo Direct. So it's because of what these issues are happening. So like. So like, I mean, but there's no reason, like at that point, even with developers, even small developers at this point, like they could pitch the thing to them, I guess, and branch it out. But but what's to stop them? There's so many other developer conferences that are so good, like GDC or PAX. PAX is an open one for anyone to get in, but they still portray that kind of emphasis on indie developers and stuff like that. Indiecade is a really good one too. But I mean, there's no reason for them to like, this is just basically finding a way to get consumers money for E3, and I find that a little despicable.
Yeah.
Well, and that's one that's one of the biggest things, and I keep saying it too, as the video game industry is becoming more and more normalized, and you know what I mean, like these companies and this money now is seeing the investment in it, and I feel that as gamers, you know what I mean, it's almost like seeing like a grassroots thing become a corporate thing. And we're like literally, you know what I mean? It's like, it's more about the profit line than the community or the people, which they don't realize. And that's where we're seeing a disconnect, because they're making these moves that clearly are going to anger and upset the actual community and what it's supposed to be about. And this is where you're saying, you know, they're getting this identity crisis where it's like, I don't know what the hell, you know, to do because we can't seem to please anybody. We're trying to do these things that we think is going to be profitable. But again, they're thinking about profits and not what necessarily, you know, how the community is going to respond or whatever. Right. So it's a weird place to be, I feel like, in some of these places. But yeah, like you're saying, PlayStation, you know, like, I don't need this any longer. There's a billion different ways to be able to reach things or whatever. The key thing to me is that they're not now pivoting and trying to catch up to the curve, because they are now behind the curve to the point of like, why do you even exist? Now you're trying to make these moves that would seem like will absolutely kill it. People aren't going to support, you know what I mean? That I feel it's weird. I'm curious to see, especially moving in the future, how the corporate world with the gaming world and community, how that ends up meshing. Because you got a ton of people now throwing dollars and they don't know why or how, because it's building up and we're literally watching it grow and become of age, essentially, and a way of life. It's a way to communicate with people. It's a way to share memories and connect. It's a way to disconnect and have fun. You know what I mean? Now you got all this money coming in saying, I don't know what to do, but I'm going to throw a ton of money at you and maybe something good happens. Nah, you know what I mean? So that to me is one of the biggest things that I've been watching, is just seeing these two different worlds almost kind of butt heads and clash, because this side does not know what the hell to do with it, and this side is learning more now about what the corporate world is. These, you know what I mean, and this and that, and they're just throwing money at it. Like, don't, like, you know, again, if somebody were to say, Smitty, here's a ton of money, you know, do something, I'm like, yes. Absolutely. I don't know what the hell I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do something.
Let's dance a little jig, you know? Well, yeah. We'll see. Yeah. Well, that's a good topic, Smitty. Okay, well, we'll close you off right there, but we'll have Lex and finish it all up for all of us. So, what is your topic today?
Let me tie a pretty bow on today's podcast, shall I? Well, today, you know, I was going through the news because I didn't know whether I wanted to talk about like the Among Us and everything they've been doing, or if something else caught my eye, and something did. And what caught my eye wasn't the headline. What caught my eye, so I'll read the headline. This game just sold for $660,000 doll hairs. Yes, that's correct. $660,000 doll hairs. That's believable to me at this point in life. But the game ranked a 9.6 on the WADA scale. So if you've ever had or been to a comic book store, maybe you're not a collector of comic books, that's cool. You should be, but you know, you're not into that, that's fine. If you've ever been to a comic book store, you'll see on the wall that they have in cases certain comic books or games, and they're scaled, right? So you have
I actually have a book like that. I can actually show it to y'all. Give me a minute. You can keep
I
it going.
have some downstairs. I should have brought them up. But yeah, you basically, as like a consumer, so like let's say you have a comic book and you think it's worth money, maybe you got it signed, it's not opened. You can send it to be scaled. That can take a couple months. It's infuriating how long it takes. So by the time you get it back, you're pissed. But a 9.6 is almost unheard of, especially for something this old. And you know, Davis had brought up a good point. This game specifically came with the Nintendo. So this is it's a sealed NES cartridge of Super Mario Bros, which came with the system. So to have a piece of history essentially that is still sealed, unopened, never been touched, is kind of astonishing because again, the game came with the NES back in the day. So having a copy solo dolo like that is pretty rare. And that's what they're saying they think brought the markings up so high. There's not a TM on the box. There's no code. Why did I say that? Like cold code on the back. Basically, and that was very intriguing for the people that scaled it because then they have to go back and look at how they developed the games back then. Why didn't it have a TM? Why didn't it have a code? That meant it was a fourth printing because the first, second, and third they did, whether it was on the box or on the cartridge themselves. Because I don't know how like back in the day, I don't know how an NES came, like what it looked like, but I'm pretty sure if the cartridges weren't in boxes in the first and second print like this, it was the third, fourth, and were they?
Yeah, they still were like that. The reason why it was the fourth print was because of, like I said, since Mario, everyone had a copy of Mario.
Yeah, it came with the game, you said.
Yeah, it came with the game. So, yeah. So, like, but now, if the only way you didn't get it is if you got a Gen 1 NES that was just the system and 2 controllers that had no zapper or anything with it. So, they didn't make a lot of so if this is a YouTuber I found that was actually explaining it, so they didn't make a lot of Super Mario Brothers standalone console, like the console cartridge game already. So that alone was already rare. So if you did get it, yeah, that's how it's packaged. So they packaged that. They may have had a limited print of it. They probably didn't print a first or second print because they were coming with inside the consoles. Yeah, so they probably made a fourth print standalone, like what this is, so they could say, "Oh, you don't have Mario Brothers? That's okay. Here you go. We'll give it as a standalone game." So that's probably how that worked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just it is astonishing to me that like a piece of history basically is out there. Like this is my childhood. I didn't have an NES. My neighbors did, which I was always confused why they had an NES because I just always remember them. They had cable too. It pissed me off because I know that their parents worked less than my parents did. Because come Christmas time, oh boy, they got bikes donated to them. And I was so mad. I'm like, how come they have cable? So I'd go over there.
You got that veering off the vest.
I was so mad. No, I would say their NES because they had it. And then they also had a first-gen Game Boy. And so that's, where my Mario, like my love for Mario came from originally. And then my grandpa, for all of us cousins that would come and visit his house, he had a system set up for us. And so that's where like I got to play these games. But when I saw it, I was like, wait, I have a little piece of history that might be worth money. I still play it though. I don't want to sell it. Heritage Foundation has been suspected of being money laundering front for a while now.
Yeah, and I totally agree with that because it's like, I mean, like for me personally, this console or this thing like right here should be valued at a high price, but not $660,000. I personally think that this game, because I mean, there's so many games that are like even rarer than that. Like if you like, I can only imagine like a Lil Samson with box would be unimaginable in my idea, or or like stadium events. Stadium events is track and field, which is the standalone, which was the game that came with the Nintendo as well. But they had
totally had that.
Yeah, completely.
And the mat.
Yeah. Oh wow. Yeah, exactly. That game. But it was a standalone game with box, and that sold. The guy found it at a Goodwill and sold it for about like $50,000. So like to say that the Mario, like a Mario unopened at a 9.6, even at a 9.6 is amazing. I don't know that, like, to say that I'm going to spend $660,000. I mean, is kind of weird. So,
is there any information on who bought it though?
No, not yet.
No,
not yet.
No,
because that would be. I mean, again, you got to think, dude. Mario though. Mario is such an iconic character in himself. Like he has transcended generation after generation. Kids know Mario. Adults know Mario. Everybody knows Mario. So that icon alone, what's amazing to me is that somebody bought this game and never opened it. Like, how could you, like, to have the foresight to be like, you know what, I'm going to hang on to this instead. You know what I mean? Or how did, like, was that person the original buyer, or did they end up getting it from somewhere else? And then, because that would be another interesting thing too, because I don't know how do you avoid that temptation, especially if you got it back in the day. Like, I got this game, but I'm not going to open it. Well, or maybe they already, you know.
It had already come with the system. Grandma or grandpa bought them the game thinking, oh, you know, we know they have the system. We'll go ahead and buy them the game for it. Well, guess what? Thanks, Mom. Or grandma and grandpa, but I already have it, so I'll just set this aside. Weird. Maybe I have a friend who will want to buy it, because back then, like, we didn't really have, you know, we had Blockbusters and things like that, but we didn't have. I don't feel like we really had a lot of game shops that we could just walk in and be like, "Hey, I have this unopened copy. Will you give me store credit?" Or you know what I mean, and buy this off of me, and then I'll purchase something from your store. That I feel like smaller comic books, mom and pop shops were just not as frequent back in my day, I feel like, at least not in my area of town.
I lived in Japan. Stores did. Well, yeah, so like there was legit like bonbons and like big huge things designed for that dude. And like we had the, you know what I mean? Like, so it, like I wish we had known then, because there was so much that I would have saved. I was showing before we started this. I was showing, because I do my pride and joy is my #1 Dragon Ball Z card, the old Bandai ones, the Japanese ones, and I've got a ton of those cards. I literally have a Trapper Keeper full of them, and you know, there's so much so then that now it's just like, oh my goodness, if only we had hung on to them.
Well, I mean,
Donkey Kong.
But think about too, like, I mean, my mom was like, Beanie Babies. I'm like, I don't really want these. And she's like, they're going to be worth money someday. I'm like, okay. So she'd bring all these home, and then she'd make me put the little tag protectors on them. They weren't worth anything. You wasted your money, lady.
No, I think there are some that are. My mom did the same thing, and we had the house fire destroyed them. I feel so mad because she had like all the super. Well, aren't there? But there are some that have sold for.
Oh no, you're right. There are
for some tall price.
Yeah, but it's not like I'm just. Very it's rare. Still it's like you got to choose. Like it's like, for instance, Funko Pop has rare figures, but like they probably have like out of the 100 rare figures. That's like digging through thousands of different kinds of Funko Pops to get to that one gold nugget. You know, so it's like that's the same kind of thing with Thai babies or comic books or even gaming. So like you won't really know. Like who would have thought that the rarest game is this Super Mario Brothers? Like really? Right. Yeah. So who knows? But here's one of the examples though. I did have one right here. So like I used to collect a lot of comic books. So here's one that I got. It's kind of dirty because I haven't had a chance to dust it, but this is from a Saga #1, like how it's all encapsulated. But this is signed by the creators of it and stuff. And like this is why we want, like, this book is probably worth about $500. But but yeah, that's the kind of way. I have like 2 boxes of that stuff that's just like signed and stuff. But but who knows? I mean, it's very interesting how people, like, who's to say it's going to be rare or not? Like, remember the recent Charizard card, first generation cards for Pokemon sold for how much? Like $300,000.
Something crazy, yeah.
Something insane. It's like, what the hell, you know?
I mean, you got to think about it too. We're the ones putting value on these items. I mean, no one's coming out and being like, well, it's worth this much. No. Someone's bidding on it and they're going to a bidding war against other people and so on and so forth. So, you know, I think, and we were kind of talking about it earlier, like non-fungible tokens. Like the idea of it is insane. But if you think about it, we do that with almost everything in life, with money, with, you know, our Twitch streams and all of that. Like we already do that. It's now just coming to a point where it's on the market itself as an actual thing, which is, it's weird, but it's already been happening. Do you know what I mean? And it's like we're in this weird transition state where I think we're all stuck at home, and it's you know, some little kid like that was his dream, was to have that game, and now he's an adult with way too much money, and he just bought it for himself. And good for you, dude or lady. You never know. Maybe it was me in my sleep. I did die in my dream the other night. Thought that was impossible.
I don't consider myself a part of a group that could spend $600,000 on a game, regardless of how. I'm totally with you there too. That's insane. Yep. I'm totally with you too, because like I don't even understand. Like, but that's the kind of people that have a lot of FU money. You know, it's like there's nothing you can do about that. So we'll see. All right. Hey, Lex.
Yeah.
What are your plans for the week?
Good question. Well, tomorrow is normal people Easter. Mine's not till May 2nd. My family's Orthodox, so we celebrate a different day. So tomorrow I'm just gonna clean house and stuff. But Monday we're almost done with Little Nightmares 2. Oh, nice. And then I beat the first one pretty quickly. Oh my god, there's mannequins that move. And their ballpoint joints freak me out. The lady with the neck, she needs to stab. The skin on her is creepy. Whoever designed her got that from like my nightmares as a child. It's not like scary. It's creepy to play this game. And I'm very much enjoying the psychological of that. But yeah, we're just playing our normal, I think. I don't think I'll beat Nightmares 2 this week, but you never know. But yeah, and then of course, Spoopy Tuesday, the new killer's out. So we've been having fun with him. He's very smexy, so we've been having fun.
Good deal. Yep. Smitty.
Yeah. You already know what I'm doing. Oh, you all know what I'm going to be doing.
Can I guess? Oh, me?
Yes.
Me?
Yes, you can.
Machine Story 5.
No? What?
Full stroke. You're not going to play Outriders.
I am definitely not playing Outriders. I am living Outriders.
Oh my god! Please don't be living Outriders. Jesus.
Living Outriders. That's the plan.
Work? Nah.
That's the plan. Yeah,
I know. That's eating. He's eating. I saw him carry all his dishes down earlier. He's eating. Yeah, don't worry.
This is true. They were piling up, and the girls get in tonight. No, the girls get in tonight, so they'll be back. But I'm sure I'm going to be on it all weekend for sure. And then we'll try to get some Metal Gear in, but we'll see if I can make it to end game, because that is my big push right now, trying to get there as far as with the game. Other than that, we do have myself. I'm actually doing a live stream for a group called Dumela, which is I'm part of the alumni council. It's a theater group, basically bringing diverse and ethnic plays. We're doing it in conjunction with the theater department at my alma mater, Western Illinois University. So we're actually doing a spring concert on Friday. Saturday, we're going to be doing a group session, talking about people that are in the business. And then there's a Q&A on Sunday. So it'll be a weekend. It was supposed to be a live event. We're turning it into a digital event. So my focus will be over there. Mm-hmm.
If you guys are doing more diversity, are you going to do Once on This Island? That's one of my favorite. Like,
I don't, well,
our American cast. It's so good. Oh, it's so good.
And right now, too, like our major thing is trying to work with the theater department to bring a bigger show like that, or even if it's not necessarily necessarily an ethnic play, but being within your casting, having more of an open mind when you're making that
options. Yeah,
exactly.
Kind of like what they did with Hamilton.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
exactly.
Exactly. Yeah.
That sounds pretty awesome, dude. Yeah, definitely. Hopefully, if y'all record something, or if this is gonna be a stream, definitely you need.
It's gonna be a stream. I'll be pushing it out throughout the week and whatnot as well. So absolutely,
okay.
Some really fabulous singers and stuff.
What about you, Davis?
Awesome. Wow. Okay. Cool. Well, unfortunately, I don't have any faith in Outriders for right now to stream. So what I am going to do is, I'm still gonna play Outriders, but I'm gonna play Outriders off stream. I'm enjoying the game still, so I definitely will not condemn it. I'm a patient dude, so we'll wait for it. But in the meantime, though, I will be playing on Monday through Wednesday, as always. I'm doing my continuance of playing some more Bravely Default 2. I'm near the end of that game, so that's going to be really cool. And then on the last 2 days, I don't know. I'm going to either go on Monster Hunter, do some more Monster Hunter Rise, which I say that game is probably better than Monster Hunter World in my with the feel of it.
I bought it. I have not played it yet.
Yeah, that game is better than
I did.
The game is better than World. I think it's just the feel of it, the controls, the new mechanic makes it much better to dodge, and if you do get hit, you don't feel like you're going to get punished. So like I love this game. This game is really really good. So then and then maybe if we finish Bravely Default 2 in a good period of time, we may switch over to a new game. I'm thinking Marvel Avengers. We did have a really fun time playing it, and folks were having a good time with it too. So that haptic feedback, bro, it was really, really, really fun. So yeah, so we'll go with it. So guys, well, folks, thank you for checking out episode number 86 of the CFG GameCast. Thank you for being a part of the conversation. We will be back next week with some more awesome conversations, and we wouldn't be able to do it without y'all. So definitely, if you missed the show live, that's okay. We always release it on Mondays on all podcast services, on Apple, Google Podcasts, Stitcher Radio, anything out there. So definitely check. There's not a reason to check us out here, as we are everywhere. All at the same time. So, and also if you want to check out some more awesome content, go check us out on our website, confreaksandgeeks.com, where we do news, interviews, reviews, and stuff. I talked to the Ghost Brothers last week about their new show that they're releasing on Discovery. So that definitely the video will be out this week. You should definitely check that out. It was really cool to be talking to those cats too over there. So once again, this is Davis signing off with Smitty and Lex. Y'all take it easy.
Bye.